Good morning, everybody. I am back at 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, and I am so excited to be here with you. So I want to talk to you about really preventing yourself or stop avoiding your problems. So it's really easy as an entrepreneur, it's really easy as a woman or a man to feel the energy of lack of passion or lack of excitement about anything you're working on, especially if you're working through something hard. So you already know this as an entrepreneur. You have already been facing challenging things to make your life happen, to be able to make your business grow, to be able to create the life that you want. And if you can think about every hard moment that you faced, you start to realize that on the other side of hard is happy. On the other side of hard is happy. But yet we spend often months, if not years, avoiding our problems, preventing ourselves from having a huge breakthrough. And here's what I want to say around entrepreneurship. There are people waiting for you. You know what I mean? There's a calling on your life. And that calling on your life is tapping at the door, tapping at your mind, tapping at your heart, begging you to write that book, begging you to start that coaching program, begging you to open yourself up a little bit more to be able to be more accessible and available to people. You know, you're feeling that nudge that you should do more Facebook Lives, which is why I started Coffee with Shanda's at 6 a.m. You know, these feelings, these thoughts, it's because there's a calling on your life that's trying to provoke you to go forward. But guess what? There's always going to be something ridiculously hard in front of it. And, you know, some people call it a test. I think in some ways you can look at it as a test because it tests you to see, do you really deserve the result that you want? And the way that you know that you deserve it is that you stay in it even when it's tough. So my husband and I are doing a little thing right now. We went to Staples here in San Diego and we got one of these little tiny notebook pads that fits in my hand. And this is called an abundance pad. And I used to do this all the time. And I said to my husband yesterday, I said, you know what? We should just start doing abundance pads. And he goes, well, what's that? And I go, it's where throughout the day, you acknowledge everything abundant that has happened to you. So, and it's crazy because this is another way of rewiring your brain for an up level, right? So if you want to up level your business, you want to up level your relationship and get it a little bit more juicy, you want to up level the fun that you have in your life, then what you want to do is you want to find a way to tweak your mind authentically so that it starts becoming a heat-seeking missile for abundance. So in abundance, there's love, there's health, there's sticking to your fitness plan, there's, not being emotionally triggered in your relationship, there's finishing that book that you've been wanting to either write or read. It's everything that causes you stress starts to fade away. But it's not that you're avoiding the thing that's hard. You're still moving towards the thing that's hard. But you're becoming more flexible to allow it into your life. So my husband and I are doing these little abundance pads. And this is just from yesterday. We decided to do it at about 3 o'clock last night or yesterday. And so it says Shanda's abundance pad. It says, well, I got an IRS check for $1,900 refund. That never happens. That never happens. So I basically buy a new home every year with my tax, meaning that what I pay in taxes, I could buy a new home every year. And so the fact that I got a $1,900 refund check is absolutely insane to me. So I opened that and I was like, write it down. I was like, woohoo! Then it's like celebrating these moments. Then right after that, I opened up another envelope and I got a $197 publishing check. I was like, I've never gotten a publishing check. Where's this from? So interesting. And then a $104 Amazon Media check came all in the same sitting, right? Then I go get my nails done, my new nail polish, isn't that pretty? I went and got my new nails. I just got my nails done and they gifted me an extra 5 minutes of massage and they gave me 10% off just randomly but I really believe it's not random. It's the way that you're showing up. Are you lighting places up? Are you walking into a place where you're like lighting up the room? You're smiling at people. Have you ever walked down the street and smiled at people? It's such an invigorating experience because people that are like you wake people up around you. So it's like, I don't believe that 10% discount that I got in getting my nails done yesterday was an accident. It's the way that you're showing up that creates the response that the world gives you. So how do you apply this to business? Well, if you're in a sales cycle or you have a vision of selling more, or, in my company, we call it a tempo. A tempo's like when you're sprinting, you're moving really fast in short periods of time to get stronger or make more money. And so when you do things like the abundance pad, what happens is that you literally end up being more enthusiastic on the calls with people. You're more connected when you write the emails. Just energy alone, just enthusiasm alone can close many deals. Intensity, when you're like, I'm gonna nail this. I'm gonna nail this. When you're in that energy, it tends to repel. You might be able to convince people to work with you. You might be able to convince a close, but then you're going to have people who, have buyer's remorse who come back and say, I wish, I'm not sure that I really want to do this. And the fear starts kicking in. Instead of them overcoming that mountain of fear by themselves, they end up quitting. And so you got to make sure you're not the type of person who quits on yourself. You need to make sure that you're not the type of person who starts something and doesn't finish what you start. You need to be the type of person that you can, I'm not saying you're never going to get emotionally triggered. I think that's a part of releasing energy. And I think stuffing anger or irritation or frustration, it just causes more sickness in your life. And resentment. And so, allow yourself to feel those feelings, but shift off of them as quick as possible. I have a bitchy side to me, and that bitchy side to me, if I'm tired or I'm in a rush, trying to catch a plane or something like that, and fear catches in, I have this bitchy side where I'm like, I'm short. And so, but that bitchy side used to be for weeks. Sometimes that bitchy side was for like a month. Where you're just consistently fighting with someone or you're consistently irritated by someone. There's one person in my life that I have a broken, actually that's not true, I have two people in my life, one last year and one this year, that I have a broken relationship with. And one I'm still in the process of forgiving. I could still love them and hug them and be with them, but I'm still in the process of releasing my hurt. And the other one, that was from this year, and the other one from last year, I've way forgiven. I've sent referrals her way. I've just sent her love, right? And so, but my point in sharing that with you is that if I was still in an ongoing battle, then, doing stuff like the abundance pad opens you up to forgiveness. It opens you up to forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for other people, because at the end of the day, there are many books written on don't sweat the small stuff. There's one book written on don't sweat the small stuff, but it's essential to having a good life. I'm studying a training plan right now around my health. And one of the big pieces that she talks about is pleasure and making sure that you de-stress. You de-stress the common things that are stressful in your life. And so for some of you, the common thing is in a relationship. You're stressed out all the time in that relationship. And so what can you do to become a little bit more flexible, or how could you shift things? Either stay in it, let go of it, or if you don't really want to let go of it, because sometimes we want to let go of it when we're mad, maybe you need to look at what is the small stuff that irritates you, that like something like focusing on abundance could transform your entire life. So I'm going to recommend everybody do this. Ash and I are doing this for 30 days, and we are tracking our abundance. And, every day, multiple things throughout the day. It stays in my purse. It is with me all the time. It's on my desk. And the goal and the purpose is to unhook to the next level. which means that you have to, whatever got you here is not going to get you there. So what you're going to have to do is change the way you think. It's not about changing your life. It's about changing the way you think, and your life will start to change because you'll make different decisions. So do you want to make decisions based on, excuse me, based on being determined, angry, or even frustrated? And that does cause results. Or do you want to make decisions based on happiness, joy, abundance? Because I'm going to tell you that that's when things start to effortlessly move forward. So there's a way of doing things the masculine way and the feminine way. And all men and all women need to have a combination of both. There's nothing that pisses me off more than seeing people talk about business coaching around just the feminine, because the feminine is collaborative. The feminine has things happen easily and effortlessly because she's a receiver. She receives and she receives and she receives, and then she does something with that and creates an amazing result. The feminine is very much in receiving, in pleasure, in collaboration. But when you look at raising a baby, that's very masculine, even though the baby comes out of a man, or out of a man. I can't believe I said that. Out of a woman. I guess it comes out of a man first, but comes out of a woman. When a baby is birthed out of a woman, raising a baby, because it has to do with a plan and getting somewhere, it has a lot of masculine energy. Anything to do with planning, it has masculine energy. So if you're a woman and you're operating too much in your masculine, then what's going to happen is you're going to shut down your adrenal glands. You're going to be dehydrated. You're going to be, operating on a high nervous system that feels like you got to take control and grab it and run with it. And you're going to start planning and goal setting and driving one thing at a time. And that's very masculine. And it works. I mean, I use it all the time. It works. But how are you balancing that masculine out with your feminine? Where maybe you stop work at a certain time. You are able to, so very feminine is holding space. Women hold space, or feminine hold space. Men can hold space as well when they're accessing their feminine power. But my point is that some men are operating too much in their feminine, and the women are saying, would you please man up? Would you please man up? And then some women are operating so much in their masculine that they're depleting their energy, and there's nothing, I was just in church on last Sunday, and the minister, Leanne, the head pastor's wife, Leanne, got up on the stage, and she was sharing about, I'm not going to totally go into this, but there's this common thread. We call it the enemy in church. You want to call it the ego, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you want to call it. So whatever, if you're spiritual, not religious, whatever your background is, just know we're all talking about the same thing, that higher power, right? So I call it God, and then I call, we don't like to talk about the darkness. We don't like to talk about, the devil, the enemy. We just don't like to talk about that. But I think it's very clear that there is a yin and a yang. There is a dark and a light. That's existing. Otherwise, where do those negative, horrible thoughts come that creep in your head that tell you that you should, who are you to create this result? Or you didn't do it last time. You didn't sell out last time, so you're definitely not going to sell out this time. Where are those thoughts coming from? Those are not godly thoughts. That's spiritual warfare happening in the ethers above you, around you, that's trying to prevent you from moving forward. So you've got to, on this planet, figure out how do you balance out your energies so that you can direct yourself towards a result, and both with the feminine and the masculine be able to create the result. It's not just your intuition, that's very feminine, but it's also the plan that drives it forward. But if you're too lopsided one way or the other, the enemy's going to come in and he's going to play with you in a way that has you do things like, I need more me time. This is what Leanne was talking about at church. She was saying, I need that conversation. She said she was going through a really hard time with her one of her children. And she said, it was like, I need more me time. Then she had a moment where her and her husband moved from Australia to San Diego to start the church. And they were following a calling, which you have a calling on your life. And that calling doesn't always look like prosperity is banging down the doors. And they were getting paid $18,000 a year. So they were I call it so broke it hurts. And things were not working. They were broke. They were working for someone who was not appreciating them. And they kept just basically saying, what are we doing? Have you ever had that in your business where you're like, what am I doing? Things are not working. What am I doing? But if you were to stop and say, am I really on my calling? And what most people do is not most people. A common trait that the enemy likes to do is to put an idea in your head that says, I'm on the wrong path because I'm not passionate. I'm not passionate anymore about what I'm doing. And I'm saying that is a dangerous game. Do you know how many people I have met that have stayed at $100,000 a year, which some people are like, I'd like to make that. Fantastic. But when you get to 100,000, trust me, it's still not enough. You want to make 300,000 to have ultimate freedom. And after that, you want to see just how many more people can you serve and help. It becomes a game of service versus a game of money. And so when you look at all of this, it's really easy to pull back, and I've met so many people who have stayed at the same income level for so long, or have had the roller coasters of income. And when I talk to them, they always hit this level where they start to pull back, and their controlling attitude starts to come out, and they hide behind spirituality, they hide behind God, they hide behind, I don't feel passionate anymore. And the truth is those are not you. Those are actually enemy thoughts that are coming in, or ego thoughts, or whatever you want to call it, that are coming in that are there to either, some people say it's to keep you safe. I actually think it's the enemy to keep you off track because you have a calling on your life. And so if you were to look at what problem are you facing right now in your business or your life, that's just the dominant problem that is just really taking your energy. It's really just having you avoid it. What is that for you? And just go ahead and just type that in the comment section. What is that for you? What are you avoiding right now in your business or in your love life or in your fitness? But what's the dominant thing? What's the thing that woke you up in the middle of the night last night, or is going to wake you up tonight if you don't deal with it? What is that? What is that problem? And just type it in. There's a huge release to honesty. And when you type it in the comment section, you're being honest and you're releasing that energy where my friend Joe Polish always says that you are only as sick as your secrets. And I think that's a great message, because we like to hide these things because we don't want anybody to know about them. But if Joe's right that we're only as sick as our secrets, why not take this step right now to change that secret and just put it out there? Even if your clients are watching, or your husband is watching, or you're afraid to say it, or you don't want to know what people think about you, or maybe you don't have an issue with this and you can just comment, just go ahead and do that. But what is that for you? What's that major problem that you'd like to avoid, or you've been avoiding, that's going to keep you up either tomorrow or tonight, or kept you up last night, and it's time to alleviate it? Run towards that today. Whatever's on your to-do list right now, find a way to move most of it so that you could just, if you can move all of it, do that, so that you could just focus on that thing, that problem that you're avoiding. Focus on it. If it's business and you want my help, you can go ahead and you can send me a private message. I can't promise you I'll get back to it today, but I will do my best. And so send me a private message. I've got a VIP day today with a client from Canada. So I will go in there this morning. I'll go in there after the VIP day. I'll go in there. If it takes me 3 days to answer your questions, I will answer your questions. But if it's a problem in business, send me the message in my inbox, and I'll go ahead and I'll coach you on it. I'll give you some free coaching and help you unhook from it. But my point is even if you don't get an answer from me today, and you get an answer from me in 2 days, still focus on running towards it today and solving it. Now, my little secret weapon is I do the abundance pads. And this is how I up-level myself to the next level. So what I do is I focus on becoming a heat-seeking missile on positive energy, which is, what is the abundance that I'm seeing throughout today? So yesterday, I got a $1,900 IRS check, which is amazing because I buy a new house every year with my tax, with what I pay in taxes. I got a $197 publishing check. I got a $104 Amazon media check. I got 10% off my nail appointment, plus they gave me an extra 5-minute extra massage. What is that gonna look like for me today? I don't know, but I'm excited to see. And that's the energy that you want to be in. If you want to unhook from the problem and find the solution, you've got to get out of the problem inside your mind, which means that you need to actually open up to more abundance so that the solution thought can drop in. And trust me, there is a solution for your problem. There just is. And whatever wall you think you're facing, it's not real. There is somebody who has solved your problem. If it's in business and you haven't made the amount of money I've made in business, chances are I can solve that problem. So go send me a private message. But if it's in fitness, there are fitness people. I mean, if you're a fitness person, just comment on the thread right now. I'm a fitness person. I'm open to helping, right? If you're a love person, you've got love issues and you're a love coach or something, I'm all about abundance. Go on my thread and say, I'm a love coach. If you need support, let me know. Let's just actually look up and look at each other and help each other solve these problems in life. Because if you don't stop avoiding the problem, it will suck every ounce of energy out of you. So I'm going to stop on that note. And who's going to join me at least this week on creating abundance pads? Who's going to join me this week on abundance pads? Just let me know who you're going to be. I want to know who my 1% style people are, my driven entrepreneurs, my driven people who are actually going to not stay right about the problem or stay stuck, but are willing to actually unhook from it and just play the experiment and see what's possible when you change your mind. All right, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a fabulous day. I'll see you on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda tomorrow morning. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.